Few. Hello, everybody. We'll give you a few minutes to get in the room. Hi, everyone. Great to see you today. We hope you're keeping well. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. If you've joined one of our Great Place to Work webinars before, you know there is one tradition we never skip. It's our famous weather update. So if you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know in the chat. What is the weather update on your side? Is it warm? Showers? Wet? For me, it is really sunny. I'm based in the south of France and I make everyone jealous. So misty, cloudy in Ireland. Hi, everyone. Rainy and windy from Cork. Oh, hi, Andre. Good to see you. Hi, Fenia. Lots of cloudy. This in rain in Cork. Very good. Well, good to see everyone. We'll give a few more seconds for everyone to come in. So, warm welcome to today's webinar. We're going to talk about how HR and marketing work together to build a stronger employer brand. So, thank everyone for taking the time to join. I'm Marina, marketing brand manager here at Great Place to Work, and I'll be your host for today. We'll be sharing the slides and the recording afterwards, so you don't need to take frantic notes during the call if you want to see what Conversational is going to share today. So while the rest of you is joining, we'll make a couple of announcements before we start. So if you're considering Great Place to Work certification, we've got a live webinar next week on Wednesday, the 24th of June. We'll talk you through why certification matters, why it's the right time now, and everything you need to get started. And whether you focus on employer branding, employee retention, talent attraction, this session will show you how certification can support your goals. And we'll finish with the live Q&A too. So any question that you might have, bring them to this webinar. We'll be there for 40 minutes with our Great Place to Work experts. And you have a little link in the chat. We'll paste it there for you to register directly there, or you have a little QR code there. We've also recently released our Employee Experience in Ireland report. So, this is a report based on the feedback of 82,000 employees across Ireland with our globally recognized Trust Index methodology. So, this report is a comprehensive benchmark between the best workplaces in Ireland and a national benchmark. So, it's really important to understand what sets Ireland's best workplaces apart from the national workplaces and how trust drives performance. So again, we'll paste in the chat there the links for you to download that directly. Good. So I can see everyone has joined now. So thanks everyone for joining. So today's webinar is about, as we say, HR and marketing, their collaboration and how they build a stronger workplace. We're delighted to be joined by Conversational Consulting Limited, who will share how they use employee feedback, culture data, and Great Place to Work recognitions to strengthen their employer brand and support their business growth. And throughout the session, feel free to pop all your questions. We have a chat and a Q&A function. We'll have time at the end to assess your questions, as many as we can. So please feel free to ask your question to the speakers there and we will cover them. Good. So we're delighted to be joined by two brilliant speakers from Conversational. First, we have Yulia Rak, Head of Talent and Operations. Yulia leads Conversational's people strategy and business operations, overseeing employer branding, talent acquisition, organizational development, and operational governance across UK, Ireland, EMEA, and the Americas. And with a background that began in HR and evolved into broader business operations leadership, she brings extensive experience in workforce planning. She's also recognized HR thought leader, writing about strength-based development and agile people practices. Joining Julia, we have Ellen Barton, Marketing Manager at Konversational. Ellen leads the marketing across events, LinkedIn, digital channels, everything about marketing, and she helps it establish Konversational as a leading ServiceNow elite partner and CRM expert. And she's experienced across, again, Ireland, North America, and the UK. And she brings a global perspective of employer branding, creating campaigns and experiences that resonate with different audiences while delivering measurable business impact. So together, they offer a fantastic perspective on how HR and marketing can work hand in hand to build an authentic employer brand that attracts and retain the best talent. So you're in very good hand today. And what we're interested about is you in the room. What is your experience with HR and marketing collaboration? So we're going to launch a couple of polls now just to get a sense of where you are at in your workplace. So in the first poll you have, how closely do your HR and marketing teams work together on activating Great Place to Work recognitions if you're already part of the program? And the second question is, how closely do your HR and marketing teams work together on talent attraction initiatives? Is it something you do very closely, occasionally, rarely, or you operate completely separately and you learn a lot out of today? And I'll give a few seconds for you to fill in the poll. Very interesting results already. Very good. Thanks for taking the poll. We can and the results and share them now. So in the room, most of you already collaborate a lot, so very closely or occasionally. And depending on whether it's your Great Place to Work recognitions or talent attraction, the answers are different. So you will learn a lot today from how Yulia and Alan work together at Conversational, and we'll see all their best practices and how they use their different Great Place to Work recognitions. So, Julia, Ellen, today you're going to show us what happens when HR and marketing work together and stop working in silos to build that very authentic employer brand and a brand that candidates can trust. So, over to you both, and thanks very much for joining today.
Thank you very much, Marina, for this introduction. Really happy to be here and speaking to the audience. Thank you for the interest in the topic. And just to introduce the topic, I guess, when we were making this presentation, it was to share a story, but we also wanted to make it useful to you and to make sure that we not only share the story that we have, but also the principles on how we build the strategy to attract and retain the best talent in Conversational. But to start with, if we could just go to the next slide. To start with, I just want to, in one phrase, to introduce what this presentation is about. I guess for me personally, the cooperation of marketing and HR is essential. We in HR will not have access to the best talent if we do not have the capabilities that marketing has to utilize in sharing our message. And that is why, for me, the greatest possible way to communicate your employer brand is to really work to define the promise. What is that we can promise to our employees and to potential employees? And then to make sure that the experience that employees and potential employees experience actually aligns with that promise. And that's what this presentation will be about. I will talk about the promise, how we work to create that employer value proposition, and then how we work with marketing to make sure that this message is being heard. Talking of experience, I think it is very important that it's not only the external messages, not only the external experience that we create. It's also about internal. But for today's presentation, we will be speaking less of how the employer value proposition is being translated into internal activities. We will rather focus on the experience that marketing creates for our potential employees and candidates on the market uh, because of the focus of this presentation. Uh, and to start with, in order to tell your story, I guess it's necessary to tell you a few words about who we are at Conversational. And if we just could go to the next slide, please.
Great. I will take over here and thank you, Julia. So just something about Conversational. We are an elite ServiceNow partner, but our main focus is on AI innovation with deep customer workflow expertise, and we focus on CRM and human-centered design. But we don't just do the implementation and then leave. We like to help organizations to do the implementation, accelerate change within the organization, and then to maintain this over long periods of time through our managed services. We have quite a lot of specialization and credentials. So we have been named the ServiceNow CRM Partner of the Year for the Americas. We are also the first partner globally to achieve our customer experience Gen AI specialization. And we have retained our elite partner status for many years, which we are very proud of. In our team, there's about 100 of us. We have 100 experts across several global offices. We have offices in Dublin, London, New York, Paris, Zurich, and Munich. And we have over 260 mainline certifications and a CSAT score of 4.8 out of 5, which we are very proud of, which we continue to maintain and improve year on year. Just onto the next slides. And so one thing about us in the ServiceNow ecosystem is that we have a lot of validated practices badges. And this shows these aren't just like performative or just like pieces you see. They signal the consistency and the work that we deliver to our customers across every implementation and across the platform. The latest validated practices that we've achieved are Now Assist for CSM and ITSM, and we're the first elite partner globally to achieve both of these. But it's not just ServiceNow credentials that we have. You go on to the next slide, you can see all of our Great Place to Work certifications. So we are Great Place to Work certified in Ireland, the UK, and France. And we are very proud of this because we don't only just tell everyone that we are a great place to work and try to depict that to our followers on LinkedIn and to anyone that works here. We are actually awarded this, and we are very proud of all the badges we have received over the past number of years. So, Julia, I'm going to pass back to you, and you're going to take us through how the culture has evolved within Conversational.
Thanks, Alan. And just to build on this, I guess for majority, probably everyone in this room is not from the ServiceNow ecosystem. We as a partner organization, being a mid-sized company, we are distinguishing from really world largest consultancies, and oftentimes we are getting recognitions before them in the area of our expertise. And we can do that only if we have the best talent in our team. So this is the business model and, well, I guess a dream that started back in 2020 when our co-founders have started Conversational. And from the very early days, we knew that in order for us to really implement on that mission and on that vision of the business, we do need to have access to the ecosystem's best talent. Another issue that we've had is with our growth, especially in Ireland, we don't have access to enough expert talent, so we have to grow our own talent. So graduate recruitment and quick career growth is paramount for our business model and to sustain our growth. And that is why, if talking how this translates into the culture, back in the day, 2020, a Conversational has started with 4 people. And for those in the room who have experience working in a startup, you know that it is not an easy job. People can find jobs for similar salary, but that are quite easier to work on, right? So people joining, they really had an ambition and a drive to do things in a certain way. And the culture in that environment is very, well, it's very natural, organic. People know how things are done. You know, culture is something you cannot write down. You do write down policies and employee guidebooks, but in essence, when you have a business situation, you always have a number of choices, and the culture is about how we make the choices right in this operating environment. And oftentimes, this is not that tangible. With the four people in the team, it's easy to be on the same page. And I think when the team has started, that was very organic. I've joined the team when we were 12. And I really loved the vibe. I've loved the way people are on the same page. I loved the way people sit down, collaborate, and put their egos aside and brainstorm for the best solution and then commit to it. And from these early days and experiences, I really wanted to keep the vibe. And I knew that as we grow, as our team grows, one of the key challenges that we would be having as a team is to really make this sustain this ways of working, this culture that we were having. And that is why in early 2022, we have approached the Great Place to Work, and we have started working with Great Place to Work and partnering with Great Place to Work to make sure that our employees have this dedicated space to talking to us and to sharing the feedback, but also the suggestions, so we can have the very real touch with our people and see what we can do in order to sustain that culture. And I guess another reason why we have approached Great Place to Work was, um, you know, when you are looking to attract the best talent on the market, and we're technology consulting, which means we are competing with really, really strong employers with a very loud voice, a lot of things to offer on their side, huge budgets in their employer branding and marketing. So we knew that this is going to be a battle for talent where we need an engine that will make our voice louder. Konversational being 12 people and the name that was not that then known on the market needed this engine that will amplify our voice, which will make our message more audible and like more people can access that message. And I guess because of these two reasons, for me, back in the day, it was not really a challenge to build the case for the CSU to uh, enter the Great Place to Work and employee survey process, because it was very, very aligned with the vision we had and with the critical business need we've had to attract the best talent. That's how we started Great Place to Work back in 2022, and year on year, we have been recognized as the best workplace. Our results always quite high. They get higher and lower in small team. Even one person that responds that has less positive experience can impact the results. But we make sure that we create the space for the employees to share their voice. In as the time evolved, I guess our need to cooperate with Great Place to Work also evolved, because now conversational is the name, especially with the seasoned professionals and experts in the ServiceNow ecosystem. We have our place in that ecosystem. We have our reputation. We don't have to really fight the battle that hard. Great Place to Work still continues to be a very essential tool that helps us get access to graduate recruitment and to people shifting from other industries to ServiceNow ecosystem. But at the moment, I guess, as time has evolved, Great Place to Work has become a key way for us to maintain that communication with the employees and to make sure that they are co-authors of our culture, that they impact what we do in order to foster the culture, in order to help the team fulfill their aspirations and needs at the workplace. So this is now becoming a key uh, added value that Great Place to Work brings to us. And we continue doing the survey currently on 3 of our 6 markets. We will be incorporating other markets as they grow to do the survey. And our latest result on Great Place to Work was 94%. And if you could go to the next slide, please, just very quickly to share with you the recent result that we have had. So we've had 95% response rate, so almost everyone in the team participated, with 94 overall trust index, which was +6 since 2024. And as I mentioned, we have our deviations in our overall scores, which is something that is absolutely fine for us. I think 2023 we've been #1 in Ireland among best workplaces in a small business segment. We're regularly in top 10 in Ireland, and results year on year deviate. For us, the importance of the results is to see how our promise reflects in real employee experiences and what they have to say. And what they have to say, I'm really proud because the things that we do promise, our employees tell that they do experience. Like 100% of the in the team say they can count on people to cooperate. 97 say that they develop professionally in conversational, and 98 say this is a friendly place to work. And this is important because Great Place to Work for us is the way to check, pulse check, whether what we promise is actually happening. And how employee needs evolve, because what made them feel that they're fulfilling their career aspirations 2 years ago may be completely different of what they need now with all the changes in the ecosystem and service. Now it's very rapidly changing ecosystem, but also with changes in the bigger world, all AI changes and evolution of the technical industry in general. So if you just could go to the next slide. That's why we start with a promise, because you see, in order to have the possibility to attract the best people in the market, we as an employer really have to understand what is that we can offer to them, what is that we can promise to them. And that's why I believe strategically the greatest impact an HR leader can make for the business is really to explore the business, understand that original dream, why this business has started, why people wanted to do something, and what did they want to do for the bigger world, and how this now reflects in the day-to-day business operations. And based on that dream and reality, create the promise to the people who will be willing to join the team. And for us, I guess it was quite tangible and easy because remember, we are still a young company, and that ambition and vision that with which this company started, it is very recent. And I think we are lucky because I know working in huge corporations, it can be quite more difficult to get that tangibility. But again, in every working environment, you as a strategic HR leader can review how this environment operates, why people want to go extra mile, what do your top performers think and experience and why they appreciate the company. And that's the insight that you have to take and translate into the promise. The very good place to start is, if you could go to the next slide, please, is the values. Company values are something, they are fundamental for the culture, because this is how we imagine we should be doing when we are best versions of ourselves at the workplace, right? Company values may be more tangible, less tangible, but this is the place to start. Again, for us at Conversational, these are the values that we've started from the very early days in the company, and they are driven by our co-founders. So it's very easy to see them at live, to see them at practice, and also to see people doing things guided by these values, people on the very top levels of the company, but throughout the organizational structure as well. And I want to very quickly guide you through this, because this will then show you how we use these messages and these values for shaping our promise. So first of all, the first value that we have is innovate and execute. And we as a partner, we are considered to be mid-size partner in ServiceNow ecosystem. There are more than 2,000 partners. And for us, our vision is to make sure that we understand the operating environment of ServiceNow very well, and we dare to take on things that others take more time, or they are not ready to jump into opportunities as fast. We explore the things going on in the ecosystem, and very quickly, because we're, I guess, have this agility, we upskill the teams to work with new products. We go and try implementing new products, and that is one of the distinctive characteristics of Conversational. In here, people have the ability to do things that are newest and latest in the ServiceNow ecosystem, because we dare to. Deliver customer success is the next one. We are consulting, and that's why we have our clients at the heart of everything we do. Embrace diversity and create belonging. It is about different points of view, and our co-founders are very different people, and they cooperate very effectively because they're able to communicate, and that translates in the broader team. Our team is very diverse, and our team is free to put forward their ways of thinking and to tell what they think, and knowing that they will be heard. Not necessarily the things will develop the way they want to develop, but they feel they can talk to us and can hear the response. Stay hungry and humble. That's about learning agility for us. In order to being able to innovate and to serve our customer, we have to learn all the time. Learning is not nice to have here. It's a must have in every function. When as a team is about how we do results, we prefer results that our teams deliver rather than individual results. If anyone is winning individually, they are expected to look back and see who's struggling and to help out. Also, if someone is struggling, they know they can shout out and someone will jump in to help. Though in consulting, people are very busy, and it is one of the biggest pressures when you have your individual results to deliver. People are maintaining this supportive culture, and then enjoy the journey. We work hard, but we also know that we have fun after we've achieved our success. And this is the foundation. The foundation is important because, as I mentioned, you have to know what are the things that you have to offer as a company. And then when you know these things, you then look out in the market and see who you want, what kind of professionals you want to attract on the market. And based on that, you create the personas. In Conversational, if we could go to the next slide. In Conversational, we have 3 personas that we have identified: eager to grow graduate, and what we offer to them based on our values. We specifically focus on the message about development. As our co-founders say, conversational is an elevator, not a stair. If you're there, you can grow really fast here. Another persona is the seasoned professional, and though our foundation, our values are the same, the message to them is quite different. We say, if you join here, you will be able to get experience in the latest products, in the latest technologies, and also to build your personal reputation and brand on the market. Third persona is ambitional sales professional, and the message for them is that you are being able to sell the product that is really differentiated and distinguished by the latest recognitions on the ServiceNow ecosystem. But also, when you sell the product, it will be implemented by best people in the ecosystem, and the team will walk the talk on the promises that you made during your sales pitch. So just in a little bit more detail, let's go into each of the personas. And if we could go to the next slide, please. So starting with the graduate. For us, graduate recruitment is fundamental, as I mentioned at the beginning, because for us, in order to grow sustainably, we have to grow our own talent. And that means we do have the internal processes and programs to maintain and to support fast career growth of our entry-level talent. But in order to do so, we have to attract best graduate recruitments to the team. And in order to attract this audience, what we promise to the graduate persona is fundamental support at the start. We tell them, when you join in, you not necessarily have to have experience with ServiceNow, but you have to have the commitment and readiness to work to build that experience. We will provide you theoretical learning. We will provide you opportunities to play in the sandbox and do your first projects in the safe environment. You will have your mentor as well, the buddy, and you will be mentored through your growth. It's on you to take the challenge. Then we say, when you feel ready, you are placed in real life environment where you can do as difficult stuff as you dare. You choose how fast your career develops, the pace with which you develop. If you want to dare, we will give you this opportunity to work on the projects that are really complex. If you want to pace it in a slower pace, you'll get that as well. And then fast career acceleration. Depending on how quickly you gain the experience, we will not be waiting for you to get a certain amount of years of experience, but rather we'll look at the essence and will help you grow. And in order to fulfill these promises, we have internal processes and programs in place to make that happen. But that's what we say to our graduates. If going to the next slide, the message to the seasoned ServiceNow expert is based on the same strengths, but is shaped in a different way. The focus is different. What we tell to the seasoned experts is, we are usually first globally. We dare to take the projects and implementations where other companies feel they're not ready and they still need to prepare. We dive in and we give you an opportunity to work with the latest things in the ecosystem. Currently, I guess more than a year ago, the major thing that our seasoned professionals are interested in is everything about artificial intelligence and Gen AI projects. So that's our message currently. Then we say that because you have the experience, opportunity to work and gain experience in this latest products within ServiceNow ecosystems, you get the opportunity to really develop your expertise and differentiate your expertise in the area. And that will help you to build your personal brand. We do not shy out to show our people externally, to have them talk and to have them share experience. We help our people to be known for their expertise, both inside conversational, but outside as well. And the third persona that I want to focus on is the if we could go to the next slide, please, is the sales professional. For sales professionals, our message is you will be selling the product that is very distinctly differentiated by external recognitions. But that will also be backed up by the team who will walk the talk and implement the product with highest quality, and that reflects in customer satisfaction rates. Ellen has mentioned at the beginning, we have sustainably maintained the highest satisfaction rates with our clients, and these rates have been monitored by ServiceNow themselves, not by us. And then we also tell our sales professionals that in order for you to be able to be selling the solutions properly, you will have to learn, and we'll give you the opportunity to really become an expert in ServiceNow selling. So these are three personas, same foundation, different messages, different focuses in messages. And that's what I believe is very essential for us to understand out of all of the things that are differentiating us as an employer, what messages will resonate and turn these messages into the promise. But after it's done, it's time to create the experience. And if you just could go to the next slide. Ellen will guide you now through how this message is being turned into experience with our external audiences.
Thanks, Julia. So if we go on to the next slide, the way that we market towards the graduates or ambitious graduates. So LinkedIn will be our main touch point there. Although using like highly corporate and nicely designed content that I put a lot of time and effort into, a lot of the time people are more attracted to what they hear from other people or other employees. They won't really take the word of a company alone. So we like to focus a lot on employee generated content. We encourage our team to share their own stories or their own achievements that they have had at Konversational. And it does reach people more, and it creates a more genuine and a more interesting view of the company because you're seeing an insider's approach, not just what we're trying to push out. Another thing is the job adverts. When we put them up on LinkedIn, we are not just trying to make a whole long list of responsibilities and make it look like some sort of daunting profession, but we also like to bring the employee value proposition to life, and we like to showcase our great place to work recognition within that as another compelling reason for someone to apply for the job. And then lastly, we have the careers page. So we like to make sure we have our great place to work score on there. This will be on our own website, our employee testimonials, some growth stories, and just some photos of the team and of the activities we do and us at events, because it gives more of an inside taste than just stock photos. Then on the next slide, to target the seasoned ServiceNow expert, they're not necessarily looking on job boards, they're not browsing the career pages, but they will be looking and keeping an eye on the people in the ServiceNow ecosystem. So they'll be watching what's going on. They'll be keeping an eye on the customers. And the thing is, we can't recruit them directly, but as we build up our own credibility and visibility, they will start to notice us and they will start to look out for us. So we like to do this through posting about our own successes within the company, industry publications, and anything that we are doing within the ServiceNow community. We also like to encourage thought leadership within our own employees as well, because this persona, if they see what our employees are posting as well, it will attract them. And another thing as well is our event presence. When we are at events, and post about it on our own LinkedIn, this will stand out to this persona as it shows our strength within the community, our presence. And if we were talking on any panels, and it really resonates with the audience that like we are out here, we have a voice, and we are very present. And then just for the last persona, on to the next slide, is for the sales professional. So we're trying to, and it's another one where we are advertising all of our achievements and our high standard within the ecosystem. So they'll post about our CRM Partner of the Year, and our customer experience Gen AI and any other PR moments like this will really stand out. Another thing is our client success stories. So this is a big one where we like to post on our LinkedIn and on our website. But these tell a story as to our standard of business, the clients, the type of clients we work with, and the complexity of the challenges, which is something that is very in line with this persona. And lastly, then, so LinkedIn will be like the main point of contact for this group. Every award, every client success story will stand out to them, as they won't necessarily be applying through just a job application, a job board on LinkedIn. And it sends a message like join a business that's winning, that's growing, and it's supported by exceptional people, and it has a great reputation within the ServiceNow ecosystem. Then on to the next slide.
Yeah, and I just want to consolidate it and just get it together for you based on what myself and Alan have presented so far. So you see, there are different things going on in the company. There are different things going on in the operating environment. And though our values do not change, the HR role is to monitor persistently what's going on through one-on-one conversations, through great place to work survey, through leadership coaching, all these different ways to understand how employee experience is happening and how the focuses are changing, how the needs of people are changing. And that has to be fueled constantly into employer value proposition. And though the core message, the goal of the message does not change, the ways of how we communicate and what kind of things we communicate does change. And that's why this interaction with marketing is so essential, because it makes the process agile and fluid. We learn from mistakes, and what then goes into the marketing communications really does bring the relevant message. And that's the core importance of the process of cooperation between marketing and HR. If you could go to the next slides, and Ellen will show us how we cooperate.
So, of course, obviously, as we have mentioned, HR and marketing do not work in their own silos. So, strategically, what we do is annually we will align on what we want Konversational to be known as, what is the image of that we want to maintain, and what worked in the previous years. Then we will work together throughout the year to ensure that whatever marketing has planned aligns with what the HR strategy is, and vice versa. And HR can share what candidates are saying, what the questions are, and what employees are saying. And together we adopt an approach that will create the best feedback that will be going out to any customers, any potential new hires, and our own employees. And then third, we maintain continuous feedback. Yulia and I are constantly in touch throughout the day, throughout the week, and it ensures just that we're both aligned on candidate sentiment, the employee value proposition scores, and if anything is changing, we can pivot very quickly, and it just keeps a very seamless operation. And then just as a result, it just creates an authentic employee brand that our own employees resonate with, and any future ones that join the team will. Pass it over to Yulia to finish off then.
Thanks. And if we could go to the last slide here. So you see, I started this presentation was telling you that in order to really bring the right message to the right audience, you have to make sure that you understand what's your promise. And then you have to make sure that this promise is translated into the experience. That's how we do it at Konversational. We make sure that internal experience is we focus the messages out of that experience, because there are a lot of things that are happening, a lot of good things that are happening, but we're really pulling the key messages, the key focuses, and then create these turn this into the external messages and external focuses. And Great Place to Work plays a huge role in that. But it's not only about Great Place to Work. It's about our one-on-ones that HR does with people, our sessions with line managers who will bring on what's in people agenda. It's in the leadership coaching that leaders do with our people. It's about how our top leaders and professionals actually act day on day, how they walk the talk on those values, and how they really create that experience by their own actions and the way they make decisions. And then when we have these really happening in the workplace, we then can pull the proper messages in an agile way, because we have to all the time cooperate and iteratively improve and learn from our mistakes in order to make sure that the message that we bring out to the external world is relevant and is authentic. Um, and oftentimes, in order to do that, we do have to make sure it's not only us talking, but our broader team, and they share their stories through the lens of the value that we as an employer can bring to our potential employees in the future. Thank you very much for your attention, and I guess we're now ready to take the questions.
Thanks very much, Julia and Alan. Lots of practical takeaways for the audience today. And I really like how you really try to understand your people first, and then you're kind of to craft that different message, the different personas you've built, and then how you collaborate together to understand them and then create a message and deliver it externally to appeal to potential candidates. So really good to see that. And actually that's of interest to people because we got a few questions there. The first one in the Q&A function there is how do you encourage employee generated content? I think you touched base on that, Ellen, and avoid fatigue in that area. I think that's when you were talking about graduates and even candidates in general trusting way more employees working at the organization than the organization itself. So how do you encourage that employee generated content?
Well, from the sales side and when I deal with our sales team, it's a lot of encouragement and a lot of help from me. So a lot of them I don't post, wouldn't have usually posted on LinkedIn a lot. So I'll give them some guidance in terms of what they could put out, what people like. We give a lot of examples. We have in the past, people are kind of getting the hang of it now. If they ever want any photos put together in any sort of way, I help them out any sort of way like that because it's not their main source of interest is posting on LinkedIn, where it is mine. And I like the image we put out. So a lot of help, a lot of guidance, and then they start to get the hang of it and it works.
Okay, so like templates and guidelines
Yeah.
and really like showing them how to do it in the first times and
Yeah. And kind of just giving them some examples. They get the hang of it eventually, but it's sort of people are slow to do that themselves at first because they're afraid of being wrong or doing something wrong. So I think the more help you give and the more examples, kind of, I think people enjoy. Yeah.
very good. Thanks for that. Then we have a question from Jessica in the chat. Do you use any other platforms beside LinkedIn to attract graduates?
Yeah,
And
I can take this
yeah.
one, and you can build on this, Jesse. I guess thanks for the question, Jessica. I think it's a very important one because we have to understand where our graduates live. Where do our target audiences really, which platforms they use? And that's where we start. For us in UK and Ireland, LinkedIn is the major one. We also use Indeed, but besides that, ServiceNow specific activations and programs, they have their own channels. So that's where we also are very active because that's where our graduates live. Now, as we evolve to other markets, less than a year ago, we have opened our US operations, and we know that there the graduates live on other platforms like Glassdoor, so that's where we are. So it depends really on understanding where your target audience is.
Thanks very much, Julia. And I think we have another one there. Do you share any, so again, about employee generated content seems to be the topic of interest there. Do you share any kind of video interviews, employee story on your own channels or rely on the employee posting themselves? Is it like a combination of the two, or is it only and solely employee generated content?
Yeah, it'll be a combination of the two. When it comes to our own Konversational's own LinkedIn page, we would focus more on the professional made videos. So if any of our employees are doing that, that'll go on ours, and obviously then the employee themselves can repost it onto their own page. Um, it won't be so much as employee generated content. We do like to highlight our employees in terms of like their story, their success on our own pages. Um, and a lot of the time, what they will post about is like their aftermath and their thoughts of an event, or in terms of our tech side, if they have achieved a new qualification or received a new certification, they'll post that. But we kind of mix it up. But a lot of things that come from our side would be mainly professionally made, if not organized by the company rather than the employee themselves.
Great. And I love the how you said, Julie, at the very beginning that you consider like Great Place to Work as the engine to make your voice louder in the talent market, especially in the tech sector, which sometimes it's kind of tricky to attract this kind of niche talent.
Yeah.
Do you have, when referencing Great Place to Work to candidates, do you find candidates responding differently in your different personas? Do they like the badge more if they're graduates, or do they know Great Place to Work more if they're longer in their career? How do you find that difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I guess the way potential candidates and candidates to the role that apply are attracted to or by a Great Place to Work badge, really I can value or make an assumption about that based on the discussion with the candidates. And I know that with the graduate audiences, that's where the Great Place to Work message is very frequently mentioned. That what gives um, additional boost to a graduate audience to apply to the roles. With the ServiceNow experts, I guess they at the moment we have the reputation on the ecosystem, and whilst they will be looking at Great Place to Work as the justification that we are healthy and a culture that flourishes and develops employees, they will be also considering other aspects, like possibility to develop, access to interesting projects, possibility to build their own brands. In there, a Great Place to Work is a part of a more complex decision making. And with the salespeople, they are very pragmatic. They are looking at how they can, because for them, ability to sell the product is what makes their success at the role. And a Great Place to Work is a great booster for that. So it does help a lot also to drive the communication with the salespeople.
Yeah, very good. And I guess when you're using your Great Place to Work stats and data, for example, you would use very different statements for each of your
Oh,
persona,
yes.
where learning and development might be super important for the grads. Then the service you deliver might be the stats and the statement you use for your sales professional. So it goes as well with your personas there, using the Great Place to Work statement in different directions there. So very good. I think we have a question around AIs there. I think it's related to, again, the generated content from employees. It's easier to use these AI tools to do that. How do you encourage employees that are resistant to using AI in the company to do so?
Yeah, that's a very good one. And thanks, Chris, for asking this question. I think that, well, first of all, in conversational, AI tools usage is a part of the role description. So it's like it's not nice to have. It's you have to do it to do your work well. And we start at this level, making this a day-to-day responsibility. Then you have to teach people to do it well so that they do not make AI just their assistants that consolidates the meeting notes, but really a tool that helps them deliver value. The major concern, I guess, that exists now and exists for everyone in every job is how AI is going to change my job. And that's where we ask people to co-author. We say that, guys, our role descriptions will be changing because the most complex technical work that you are now doing will be done much faster by AI. But what cool and interesting stuff can you do as an orchestrator of that process? How you can gain the experience that will differentiate you on the market and give you the portfolio of achievements with this new technology. Be the author, be the driver of this process, not only the perceive the things that our technical architecture team is doing. And so we have the internal project we call it AI Futures, where we created the sandbox for our developers who are interested to play with it. We regularly share what they're developing, and that's how we maintain or we address these concern that the employees are having. In essence, for us, employees must be using AI on daily basis in order to do their job. So it's part of their role description, really.
Yeah, and I guess it really depends on the sector as well you're operating in, and obviously in tech, it must be something you're comfortable with. Two questions in one around your collaboration. At the very beginning of this meeting, we had a little poll, and we understood some people are quite advanced in their collaboration, and some people are really new and are in this call actually to understand how they can collaborate together between HR and marketing. So one question is, if there was only one thing you would do to make HR and marketing collaborate, what would that be? And then in your collaboration, what was that one thing that you felt really made that difference in your collaboration? So one for whoever's just starting, and one for those who are a bit more expert but want to go that extra mile there.
Okay, I can give my perspective, if I
Sure.
may. So, when you're starting, I think the most important thing to align on is focus. Whether you have a huge budget or as us, you don't, and you just have an intention to have your voice heard and minimal resources, you have to make sure that you're aligned around what is the focus of your collaboration. That's what really makes the difference. Because there are plenty of things that you are definitely proud about your workplace. There are plenty of ways to communicate that message. You have to focus to really make the difference, and that's where I would advise to start. And one thing that I think is um, making the difference for me, I think the agile approach. So in IT, our teams work as in agile, and they learn to make decisions as a team, not lean on hierarchy, rather on common sense in the team. They learn to make mistakes and learn from the mistakes fast, to change things and not to be afraid to come to client and say what we have promised is not working. That's the better way. And I think the way we have structured the work with marketing here, having the strategic goals, but then being in touch regularly is what really helps me in cooperation with the marketing. And I find this very beneficial.
Very good. What about your marketing approach there, Alan?
Yeah, I agree with Juliet. I think the constant catching up to figure out what exactly we're communicating, what exactly people are feeling is absolutely key, because if not, you're just working on an island, which when you're trying to put out a message on social media or any platform, it doesn't really work and it won't align. And I think it looks really bad. It's such a bad look to have a company that's saying one thing on one platform and then one thing on another. So I think definitely increasing the agility, increasing the communication. And the thing is that Yulia will have access to some of the tech team more than I will. So she'll get that insight and I get access to the sales team more, because we would work a tiny bit more closely. So bringing that together in ways just does create a lot more in sync, and yeah, just makes working a lot easier.
So alignment and focus and agility there.
Yeah.
Very good.
definitely.
Well, I think this is a good way for us to wrap up this webinar. And thank you so much for sharing your insights today. It was very, very good and informative, and I hope you and Nicole will take away a lot of practices to your own organizations. So thanks very much to you both. And yeah, if you want to join us for our next Get Certified in webinars next week, you have the link in the chat. Thanks to everyone for joining today. And we hope to see you in our next Great Place to Work event. And the slides and recording will be shared this afternoon by email. So have a good rest of the day and good to see you all.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much for
everyone.
inviting
Thanks,
us.
everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Have a great day.